Well, I'm sure you've all heard by now, but the drought is over. South Dakota picked up its first win over archrival South Dakota State since 2000 over the weekend, and here to give us his thoughts on that is Coyotes head coach Bob Nielson. Coach, let's start with the emotions that accompanied this win. I know there were a lot of them, but how did it really feel to get this one for you and your guys?
Well, it certainly felt good, and I was really happy for our team, particularly our senior guys that played their last game here in the Dakota Dome on Saturday, and I'm very happy for our fans. You know, we've got a lot of loyal supporters that this game meant a lot to as well.
Low-scoring first half in this game. It was kind of a defensive battle, and, of course, your defense played a huge role in that. SDSU went 80 yards in 9 plays on their first drive. After that, over the rest of that first half, 117 yards on 19 plays. So how were you able to settle in against that Jackrabbit offense?
Well, I think we did a good job of bending a little bit, playing well on third downs, forced a couple of turnovers, the kinds of things that opportunistic defenses need to do. And, you know, we've had some issues with that through the course of the year, and it was a strong first half by then, by that unit that allowed us to have a little bit of a lead going in at halftime.
Now, one of the other keys to that first half was punt coverage. I mean, that group played really, really well, particularly your long snapper, Dalton Godfrey. Boy, what a day for him.
What a young man. He separated his shoulder in the Youngstown game, didn't play against North Dakota State, came back, battled through injury, and not only did a great job snapping the football, did a great job covering the football, and actually forced a turnover as a part of one of those cover situations.
Down to football twice inside the 5-yard line to boot, and he was the Missouri Valley Football Conference Special Teams Player of the Week, deservedly so for that effort. But 10-7, as you said, at the half, offense found a little bit of a rhythm in that third quarter, and Cody Case gave you a little taste of what you've been missing for a lot of this season. Boy, what a couple of catches he had to set up 2 touchdowns for you.
Yeah, really dynamic football player, and he's missed too much of the season. You know, he was in and out of the lineup pretty much all year, finally healthy here in the last game of the year. A guy that can take the top off coverage, and showed that on Saturday afternoon with a couple of big catches, and we actually had him deep a couple of other times that we missed him on.
Well, I tell you what, though, effort alone on those 2 particular plays. I mean, he was a guy that was one of many that were just leaving it all out there for you on Saturday.
Yeah, we talked about that. If it's going to be your last, make it your best. And we had a lot of guys that made it their best game of the year. Not just our senior group, but a lot of our underclassmen played with a great deal of confidence at critical times, which helped us put that game away.
Well, from there, it was all about that defense once again. What can you say about the way that group closed this game for you? Because they have had plenty of ups and downs throughout this season, but boy, they saved their best for last. I don't think there's any question about that.
Yeah, you know, they played with a lot of poise and character at the end of the game. We had to make 2 stops. You would have liked that only to have been 1, and being able to get a first down to maybe kill the clock out. Kicking game in that last possession put them in a backed up position, and we did a good job they gained a few yards, but never got on our side of the 50-yard line, and then the fumble on the desperation play to seal the game.
Now, I know this isn't the day you necessarily wanted to see your season end, but it is what it is at this point. And with that said, you mentioned your seniors before. It was a small group, but a very valuable group. Guys like Austin Simmons, Darren Greenfield, just to name a couple. Devlon Whitcomb, another captain this year. To be able to send those guys out with that had to feel pretty good.
Well, one of the things you want guys to do is when they leave your program to think, Coach, that was great, and I've got some memories for the rest of my life. And that game Saturday will be one of those memories for them to be part of the first team in Division I history to get that win. And I know they join me in saying, hey, Coach, we have to make that a routine now, just not a once in a long time thing.
And you said, too, Saturday, wanting to make that where it's not an upset anymore.
Right, and that's where you need to get your program. Well, we want our program to be a program that's competing and winning big games all the time, and that's the next step for us, and that's the step that we're going to get to.
How else does this one help your program?
Well, I think it helps with momentum into the off season. Guys understand that, hey, not only do we beat South Dakota State, we beat the team that's ranked 5th in the country right now, and that we can play with anybody, we can beat anybody, but we have to be better than we were this year, and we have to be more consistent than we were this year.